that I look into here so that, you know, not like looking at myself, because I'm so vain. I probably made this song all about me. I'm so vain. That's going to be an outtake right there. Part where I'm singing better, though, of course. Hey guys, this is Ben from the Giant Orange Cup. I wanted to do this video first, but I ended up doing the other video about the Reddit post just because I felt it was more relevant to what I was feeling and going through at that point in time. But I had this one in the hole first, and this is something that if anybody out there needs to hear it, please go ahead and share it. Make sure to drop some comments if you've ever dealt with this in the past, because it's important to me to kind of get the message out there that, you know, if you guys don't understand it yet, you know, it took me a long time to understand what, you know, it meant for me to be able to progress. And, you know, even though things aren't perfect for me now, you know, I'm striving to be better every single day, and I'm trying to make sure that, you know, I pass that along. I pay it forward with all of the love and the support that I've had from all of my forums and everything. I appreciate the fact that you guys are all out there cheering me on, and it pushes me through days where, you know, like the past couple days, it was just really rough, and I didn't do my live last night, but I was up late and just doing stuff, and I walked like 3.5 hours yesterday round trip to be able to get a new pair of shoes. And I didn't know how bad it was, but these were absolutely killing my back. And as soon as I put the new shoes on and I walked up to the front of the store, my back was already starting to feel better. So it's crazy. Look, see, that's all I got. $17 for those. I got hooked up. So, but I've been sitting on this for a long time, and I've been trying to find the right time to make sure that, you know, it's the right time for everything to start progressing. And you can't wait. You can't wait for the stars to align. You can't wait for all the pieces to fall into place, you know? Everybody's a little wabi-sabi. So it's a matter of taking that and bringing your story forward. And if it's something that you guys need to hear going into 2026, this is the first time I've ever felt that it was going to be my year. So I'm glad you guys have been able to be there for the very short journey that it's been so far, because, you know, you guys help me want to move forward and keep going with what I'm doing, validate what I've been through, and, you know, the kind of humor that I'm trying to bring across. But aside from the humor, I wrote this about perfection, and I wanted to share it with you. So, perfection has haunted me my entire life. Even now, as I put my thoughts into this little Linux program, I'm still, for some reason, striving for perfection. Why? What happened along the way that has me believing that I deserve to be perfect? There are a number of things that break down in our society that can stagnate us. Perfection is probably the most trivial construct to get hung up on. The religion that's regularly sold to you in the United States even has us subscribe to the notion that man cannot be perfect, but we're all perfect in God's eyes. I'm not certain about other religions and their views on perfection. I'm not particularly religious myself. From my understanding, we're all just balls of light living as meat popsicles on this forsaken planet. So why am I still chasing perfection? When I was a child, I was good at some things. I enjoyed creating with my hands. I doodled on papers, past the margins, the wild images in my head. My very first want in existence on this planet was to be an artist. I had an amazing mentor when I was in grade school. I excelled with pencil and paper, colors and shading, the translation of my mind to the canvas from an extremely early age. I was constantly creating these images. I had my artwork on the windows of a Burger King restaurant earlier than I could remember. From Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to superheroes like Wolverine and Spider-Man, the Batman logo from the 1989's movie could be found everywhere along with his cowl and pointed ears. Learn How to Draw the Marvel Way was one of the first books in my library. I wasn't even 10 and I was learning from the professionals. I was drawing pencil-shaded portraits of sports stars. I was having the time of my life. It wasn't perfect by any means, but I put in the work and I got better with every stroke of the pencil I put to paper. What happened? Well, with this kind of a build-up in my formative years, I was surely bound for greatness, right? I decided at that point that I was going to illustrate comic books. I'd been learning all the tools that I needed to make up the pages that would go into my own graphic novel, perspective-based backgrounds, dramatic poses that excited the reader, and colors and inking that would pop and bring movement to an otherwise blank page. I was ready and I started creating. I was all in with this idea that I was going to be the next great illustrator. I was proud of myself and the effort I'd put in, and I shared it with everyone close to me until I didn't. I'd shared that I was creating my own comic book series with someone who I valued the opinion of, someone who had achieved great things in their lifetime, someone who had fostered this growing want within myself. I had cheers from everyone around me except this one person. They simply told me, "It's going to take a lot of work. Are you sure this is something you want to do?" I didn't know how to react to the statement. I was young. It was obvious that I had put a great deal of effort and several years by this point into becoming what I was. This wasn't work. This was fun. This was a way for me to shine my little ball of light inside of myself. I was giving back at such an early age and was ready to share it with the world. Perfection, it was not, but that was okay. I was like 9 or 10. I had plenty of time to perfect my craft. It's obvious that this statement has haunted me to this day. Are you sure you want that? I had declared with my whole chest, stood on business, and gone 10 toes down that I wanted this. This interaction had me go from illustrating being the core of my existence to my artistry being just something that I do. No longer was I driven to create. Now, I know that you're thinking that this was an overdramatic way of reacting to simple words of advice. A caution to remember when I was in the thick of it. A reason to look at the entirety of what I'd done up until this point in my very young life. Find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. All the work and effort I had put into my artistry to this point wasn't perfect. I couldn't grasp the reality that I wasn't the only one in the world working towards my goals. No matter who I was going to be, I was going to do this. This statement prefaced everything that I did going forward. If I'm to earn anything in my life, it would need to be perfect. I would need to be the best. Anything less than perfection wouldn't be good enough. Sure, I was creating characters and stories I was hoping would have an impact on the future generations. I was taking blank canvases and creating images that had form, function, and reason. My love for the craft, time and effort I was putting in wasn't enough. My mind shifted. From then, I moved away from the comic books and cartooning. I'd fallen in love with other activities throughout my life. I learned how to read music and play a couple of instruments in middle school. I had an ear for music despite the fact that I couldn't sing and could barely keep rhythm. I fell in love with basketball, mastered the no-look pass. I studied the greats, developed a foundation in many different varied hobbies, none of which I was perfect at, but I wanted so much more than for them to be just a hobby. Some of which I'd forgotten that I needed to understand one thing: if it isn't perfect, it isn't my calling. So now I'm going to be 45 next month. I have become a jack of all trades. I would acquire skills throughout my life and never find focus on one outstanding cause. I've picked up and put down more careers than I care to list, never really excelling at any one thing that would define me. Why? I've experienced being passionate about math and science only to find that I'm underdeveloped in those areas of intellect. I have a want to learn about history, sure, but it doesn't drive me like when I was younger. I unfortunately learned the price of perfection and that it doesn't exist, that there is a struggle in becoming that which defines our being and sense of self-worth. I've spent the past 3 months now on my own. I need to step into my future, but I'm still looking for perfection. Truth is that it will never come. I decided that while imperfect, a tirade about perfection would be the perfect way to start my journey and finally put to use the advice I've learned at such an early age. There is hard work to put into becoming perfect, and though perfection may never come from me, I hope to instill what I learned in those that follow me down my newly forming path. Nothing happens overnight. Love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. It's okay to fail so long as you keep at perfecting your craft. Don't give up. You have to go further. I'm no stranger to content creation. I've hosted the perfect Instagram until I'd lost interest with it and then made 2 more. I've worked on learning the ins and outs of the TikTok algorithm. YouTube is a second home to me. I've written my own music. I've shared my photography. I've curated feeds that kept visitors wanting more. The new thing now is that I plan on getting more personal than I have before. I've developed through a long period of introspection. I hope that you'll take the time and take this journey with me. Don't forget to share this with somebody who may be going through the same thing. Wisdom can be found anywhere, but you need to have your eyes open to see it. So, like I said, I wrote that, and that was going to be my first video. Sorry for if it's a little flubbed up and stuff right now. I've been up for a little while, so I'm about to go to sleep here. But I wanted to get this on the tube before I went to sleep, and I've got an early day tomorrow. I got to make sure that I make an early day of it because TikTok's killing me right now. If I post after 5 o'clock, my videos get like 10 views. I've been told that I can go live on here on YouTube, and because I have at least 50 followers, and every time I keep hitting the live button, it's not letting me go live. So y'all out in YouTube land, hit me up with a comment or something like that. Let me know what I can do to get this thing to progress, because I plan on shooting some lives over here on YouTube as well. I have content lined up and planned. I have a whole bunch of stuff lined up and planned. The past 4 days has been absolutely amazing. The generosity that people have been showing me on the street and off the internet. It's been amazing, and it's been so worthwhile just being able to share this journey with you guys. So, like I said before, hit follow, like, share, subscribe, hit all the buttons there. Go to my TikTok, do the same thing on all my videos too. I've almost hit 1,000 likes with all my videos. So it's not a lot, but as far as I'm concerned, not actually working hard other than making the videos and creating the content to put up there. I'm not really pushing, the algorithm too hard or promoting any videos or anything like that. I'm just trying to organically build a fan base that hopefully sticks around and helps me continue to create a brighter future for everyone. So, Ben from the Giant Orange Cup signing off. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll see you soon.